Hello and welcome to today's video, where we will talk about polio, a disease that has been eradicated from most of the world, but still poses a threat in some regions. Polio is short for poliomyelitis, which is an infection caused by a virus that can damage the nervous system and cause paralysis or even death. In this video, we will learn about the epidemiology of polio, which means how it spreads, who it affects, and how it can be prevented. Polio is a highly contagious disease that mainly affects children under 5 years of age. It is transmitted from person to person through contact with fecal matter or contaminated water or food. The virus enters the body through the mouth and multiplies in the intestine, where it can cause mild symptoms like fever, headache, sore throat, or nausea. Most people who get infected with polio do not show any signs of illness and recover without complications. However, in some cases, the virus can invade the nervous system and attack the nerve cells that control the muscles. This can lead to muscle weakness, pain, stiffness, or paralysis of one or more limbs. Paralysis occurs in about 1 out of 200 infections and can affect the breathing muscles, causing respiratory failure and death. Death occurs in 2 to 10% of those who develop paralysis. The incubation period of polio, which is the time between exposure to the virus and onset of symptoms, is usually 7 to 10 days, but can range from 4 to 35 days. The virus can be shed in the feces for several weeks after infection and can infect others who come in contact with it. This means that polio can spread rapidly in areas where sanitation and hygiene are poor and where people are not vaccinated against it. The best way to prevent polio is to get vaccinated with either oral polio vaccine, OPV, or inactivated polio vaccine, IPV. OPV contains a live but weakened form of the virus that stimulates the immune system to produce antibodies that protect against polio. IPV contains a killed form of the virus that also induces immunity but does not cause infection. Both vaccines are safe and effective and have been used to immunize millions of children around the world. However, there is a rare but serious risk associated with OPV that you should know about. Sometimes, when the vaccine virus replicates in the intestine, it can mutate into a form that can cause paralysis as well as wild poliovirus. This is called vaccine-derived poliovirus, VDPV, and it can spread in communities that are not fully immunized against polio. VDPV is detected when at least 2 cases of paralysis are linked by genetic analysis and show evidence of transmission for at least 2 months. This is called circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus, CVDPV, and it poses a major challenge for global polio eradication efforts. To stop CVDPV outbreaks, it is essential to increase vaccination coverage and surveillance in affected areas and to use IPV instead of OPV where possible. IPV does not contain live virus and therefore cannot cause VDPV. However, IPV is more expensive and requires injection by trained health workers, which makes it less accessible and feasible in some settings. The good news is that thanks to the efforts of governments, health organizations, and volunteers, polio has been eliminated from most countries and regions of the world. The last case of wild poliovirus was reported in Africa in 2020 and only 2 countries remain endemic, Afghanistan and Pakistan. However, until polio is completely eradicated everywhere, there is always a risk of resurgence and importation of the virus into polio-free areas. Therefore, we need to continue our fight against polio until every child is protected from this devastating disease. That's all for today's video. I hope you learned something new and interesting about polio. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more informative videos on health topics. Thank you for watching and see you next time.